Welcome.
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 What are you doing?
Give me a welcome.
Welcome.
I've got southern comfort running through my veins. My mama was the wind, and my daddy was a train. I'm the second coming of the midnight rider. I'm a modern day old soul singer, son of a gun and guitar slinger.
Welcome back. It's week 2 of the 2011 deer season. I'm your host, Josh Nifong. This week we're going to be focusing on October 8th through the 14th. And we're going to start things off a little different this week. We got my main man, Joey, on to predict the weather. Now, Joey's good, and I mean he's real good. Well known throughout the area. Probably going international about this time next year. So we don't have a very big budget for him. We're going to try to keep him around as long as possible. We'll see if he can hold out with us the rest of the year here. But here's Joey. Check out the weather. He's got some good points to make, so you can look forward to hunting next week.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
My name's Joey, and I'm sitting here with my faithful cat Buster, who is he's under the weather a little bit right now. I think the way he looks, or he's getting ready to be under the weather. But we're going to talk about what's going to be going on next week as far as the weather goes, from Saturday to Friday, and we're going to go through it quick. Saturday, Sunday, basically highs mid-70s, low 50 degrees or so. It's going to start clouded up some Sunday, and as we go into Monday the 10th, we've got a storm that's going to be coming into the Charleston, South Carolina coast, probably moving up through Columbia, up through the Piedmont section of North Carolina. We're looking at rain Monday night, probably into Wednesday morning. Right now I think it's going to be between a ½ inch, 3/4 inch of rain, maybe up to an inch of rain. But more than that, what I want to talk to you about is the moon phase. We have got a full moon the 12th, which is Wednesday. With it raining Tuesday, I really think the 10th, which is Monday, would be an excellent day to be in the woods. The pressures are going to be falling, deer's going to be on the move. We've got a real active weather pattern, and it's going to change these deer up a little bit. The bucks right now are not really interested in the does a whole lot. They are, but in another couple of weeks they will be, and they're going to be on their feet a lot next week. Anytime from, basically I'm going to say from Monday to Thursday, they're going to be 4 great days to hunt. The only problem with Tuesday, it could be raining all day. Not going to say the deer won't move some later on, but it's going to be probably the toughest day to hunt, but a lot better than this week. But basically we're going to be looking at highs in the low 70s and lows in the 50s. Not anything cool or cold. I think the following week we're going to get into a more a few more fronts coming down from Canada, maybe cool us off a little bit. But also maybe next week I'm going to give you a winter outlook, or a November and December outlook of what's going to be happening with the weather. We're in a La Nina. We're going to have a La Nina winter, which is going to be a kind of like last winter, but it's going to be a real good opportunity for some colder weather in November and December. We're going to talk. We are going to talk about that later. But anyway, have a good hunt next week, and I think it's going to be a good time to kill a big buck. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Now, this is one of our winter food plots we planted for this year. It's a wheat field, so I want you to take a look at that. And here's the acorn tree that I videotaped actually last week. The acorns are definitely dropping this week. They're going to continue to drop, but that's what it looks like underneath them. A lot of deer sign, a lot of deer tracks. This is a white oak tree, and what I was wanting to point out here is you got to know the difference in a white oak and a red oak. As you can tell, the bark's slick. I mean, not slick, but the bark's rough on this tree compared to the actual red oak tree, which is this one. The bark's a little thinner and slicker. You got to know the difference in them, because a deer likes the white oak a whole lot better than he likes the red oak. I just showed you the leaf in the actual acorn. As you can tell, the white oak acorn's red and the red oak acorn's white. And I know it don't make a whole lot of sense, but you got to know the difference, because a deer loves a red oak acorn. Now, hopefully you can take this week's field report and use it to your advantage and find that big white oak tree to get under. Our focal point this next week is going to be wind, and what we can learn from wind. Wind is very important to deer. It's a deer's number one sense is his nose, and he relies on that to stay alive. If he smells us, he's going to go the other way, especially a big old mature buck. What we want to make sure is that we're downwind of the way the deer's coming from and his direction of travel. Not all the times will this work, but if you can put yourself in a better situation, your success is going to go up drastically. What I want to make sure that you're doing is even on small pieces of property, have more than one stand set up. I have a certain piece of property that's roughly 5 or 6 acres that I have the ability to get in about 4 different trees depending on which way the wind's blowing. I've seen more and more deer than I ever have once I started paying attention to the wind, even here in the South. And I know that's hard for a lot of southern hunters to believe, but a deer reacts to the wind and reacts to what he smells. And if he smells you, he's going to go the other way. So focus on wind this week and see if that helps you get an opportunity to even see a better deer this week as you're hunting.
Well, this week's failure story is it's kind of sad, I'll be honest with you. Deke, our failure story from last week, actually comes from his dad this week. I'm not supposed to mention his name, but I think his name's Tony. I've never met the man before. But the bad news is the same deer Deke was hunting that he missed last week, Tony got a shot at this week, and he hit him, and really thought he hit him good, but apparently he didn't. And the tip I want to tell you about this week is actually what Tony did and probably shouldn't have done. Is regardless if you hit them good, bad, whatever, you still need to give the deer time. With a bow, they just don't die like they do with a rifle. Tony got out of the stand because he thought he hit him good and basically pushed the deer. They tracked him for a little while, found where he was bedding, and apparently the deer run off. They've never found him since. And to be honest with you, guessing the deer's probably dead somewhere. But the chance to find him now is slim to none. So, what we learned from this is basically if you shoot a deer good, bad, whatever, give him time to die. If you shoot him bad, give him a lot of time, say 5 hours, 6 hours. If you shoot him good, still give him a good hour. That's the easiest way to be on the safe side. And learn from that. And hopefully Deke won't be another failure story or anybody in his family this year.
This week's success story comes from a fella named Tripp, and Tripp's hunting in eastern North Carolina this past week, and in eastern North Carolina, muzzleloading season actually came in this past weekend. Tripp went to a farm that had never seen a deer bigger than a 5-pointer on there. He had a lot of confidence in it this year, though, because there was no cows on the piece of property like there had been in the past. There's been cows off the property now for about 3 or 4 months, I think, and he felt like there'd be more deer in there. Well, come to find out, Tripp was right. He got in the stand that morning and had no luck, didn't even see a deer, I don't think, Saturday morning. Worked around the property and hung a different stand that evening over a edge. On this edge we had white oak acorns and a few red oak acorns mixed in, but it was a cutover, an edge that had big trees and a big pasture. About 5:30 he got in the stand, and at 6:15 he heard a deer rubbing the trees and possibly sparring a little bit. Well, about 7:15 a deer walked out, and it was by far the biggest buck he'd seen on the property, and he went ahead and took it. And it ended up being a nice 8-pointer that I'll show you here in just a second. Well, 10 minutes went by or so, maybe a little less. All of a sudden he looks up after he reloads his muzzle loader, and here comes a different deer, and it's a bigger buck. The buck walks right out to the edge, and it happened so fast, he said, that the deer got turned away from him and started walking away before he could even get his muzzleloader up and on the deer. Well, come to find out, 5 minutes after the deer disappeared walking away, he reappeared and gave Tripp a shot, and he shot both of the deer within 15-20 minutes of each other. And that started his muzzleloading hunt off great, I'm sure, this year, and it started his season off great this year. But what I wanted to tell you is, again, there's not been any cows on this particular piece of property. I really feel like that's why Tripp was successful. Cows and deer do not mix. Deer do not like the cows. They're scared of them, whatever. They don't like their smell. I don't know. But deers and cows do not mix. So if you can find a spot where the cows have just got gone from and everything's right as far as food and bedding area, check it out. Go hunt. You might be at a place you've never hunted for before that the biggest buck you like might walk out. Check Tripp's deer out here, and that's all for this week. We'll see you right here next week, next Friday. Come see us again.